of the events or a repetition of the events that have taken place here in Los Angeles recently, we have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put two dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Samir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coons. The white man to go nuts if he can't shoot. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Ahmadiyyah.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Ahmadiyyah.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, given to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations. I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
I'm getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation.
Queen.
Touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations. America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all in Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat.
This is the sound of Eric Malcolm.
It's a cut on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin? hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got...
This is the sound of Eric's fun.
Hello, everyone. Grand Rising. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your morning wake-up call. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Dr._A Shakur, TikTok at Dr. A Shakur, and Twitter at DGoddess27. And if you don't like what the Queen is cooking, well, you already know what to do. All right. Hey, Vince, I am from the UK. Jeff ATL. All right. Anita is here. All hell no. Claudette, Aboriginal Woman. Kenyatta is here. Pennywise, Brand Slayer TV. Okay, so let's get ready to get into it. Christopher. RG Titan is in here. All right. Shout out to my moderators putting in work. I see you, Lana L. Eileen. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Everyone, please get the lights up. You all know. Hey, Mr. Hotel. You all know they have the Queen Shadow Band. Hello, Kyle. Or Keel. I hope I'm saying your name right. Yusuf is here. Bronze Flat Power God. William. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. Without further ado, now I hate to be the bearer of bad news, beloveds, but there's no trivia today. There's no trivia today. I don't have time. Beloveds. I have something very important to do. So unfortunately, no trivia today. Hey, Timber Dan, maybe we'll have it tomorrow, but not today. Hey, Janelle. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it. Let me put this thug's picture up here on the screen. This woman put a baby, a newborn, in a trash compactor. And for that, the state of Alabama wants to give her the death penalty. And that's absolutely what she deserves, because who does that? So very gruesome. But this is her right here. So let's get into it. Lights up, everyone. Please don't forget to get those lights up. Thank you in advance. Prosecutors seek death penalty for teen mom who allegedly killed her newborn baby boy in a garbage compactor and calls her a danger to every living, breathing child. Okay, Jakayla Ashante Williams. Now, an Alabama mother is charged with capital murder, and she will face prosecutors looking to put her to death after she allegedly killed a newborn baby. Put the child in the local trash dumpster. Now, I'm sorry, but you know they do have a rule now. They have a policy where if you don't want a child, you can just simply take it to a fire department or somewhere like that and drop it off. Okay, you could have done anything besides kill it. So there's no excuse. When these teenagers get pregnant at early ages and do these things, I understand they feel like they're in a tight predicament and all of that, but you can get help. Okay, you can give that child to somebody who's going to love it and raise it. This is not the answer. Okay, so she's 18 years old and she gave birth at home in August. Now, after her family realized that she had delivered the child, the defendant allegedly told them a story about handing the boy over to a red-headed hospital worker earlier that month. Now, Williams' family was concerned for the newborn's safety, and so they then traveled with her to nearby Southeast Health Medical Center, demanding answers. Hospital staff called the police to report the defendant's mother's inquiries. Now, the Dothan Police Department followed up with questions of their own. Finding the responses lacking, investigators then reviewed surveillance footage. They allegedly found no evidence that Williams had ever been to the hospital on the day in question. After that, the defendant allegedly admitted to putting the baby in a blanket and leaving him inside a dumpster with an attached garbage compactor at an apartment complex in the area. This is, oh my God, this is so sad. Just the thought of it. The child's remains were found inside the dumpster in a mattress protector and a duffel bag that had been zipped shut. Williams said she did not want to be a mother at her age and that having a baby cost too much money. Well, I'm sorry. You could have gotten an abortion before that child was even born, or you could have just given it to somebody, like I said. So on Friday, during a preliminary hearing, the state announced they would be seeking the death penalty in Williams' case. And this is according to courtroom reports. Now, Williams' defense said their client should be granted a reasonable bond so she can receive much needed mental health treatment. The prosecutor objected, reportedly calling Williams a danger to every living, breathing child. Now, during the hearing, defense attorney Clay Wadsworth disputed whether the child was even alive when it was placed in the dumpster, asking if the state had any evidence to support this claim. Now, that's a good point. Let me tell you why that's a good point. I want you all to pay attention because although, she absolutely is deplorable for what she did, and no excuses can be made. But here's the thing. Do you all remember the white girl who was also 18 years old? Her name is Brooke Skylar Richardson. Do you all remember her? I reported this story to you and I've mentioned her before because she absolutely gave birth at home as well. And she killed her child. She said she stabbed the child and then burned it and then buried it in the backyard. Now, all of this came to light when she got sick and she ended up going to see a gynecologist. And when they did, she had some type of infection, I believe. And so when the gynecologist did the exam, they realized that she had given birth. Now, when they questioned her where this child is, well, she was telling all these lies, but then they found out what actually happened. So Brooke Skylar Richardson, she didn't get the death penalty. She didn't go to prison. What she got was like 6 months in jail for desecration of a corpse. And the reason that's all she got is because her defense made the argument that the child was deceased when she did all of that. But we know the child wasn't deceased. And how do we know that? Well, because had the child been born deceased, she would not have stabbed it. She would not have burned it and set it on fire and all of that and then burned it. She wouldn't have had to stab it, is all I'm saying. Okay, the child was clearly alive. But because they made that argument, they didn't charge her with homicide. They only charged her with desecration of a corpse. And she got about 6 months. And she's scot-free today, just walking around like it's all fine. Okay, and that was about 3 or 4 years ago. Please pay attention. So that's a good argument that they're bringing up because this child was likely born alive as well. I'm just saying this is why they're going to bring that argument up because they won't be able to prove if the child was actually born alive or not, 9 times out of 10, just like they couldn't prove it with Brooke. Okay, so anyway, it goes on to say, the prosecutor objected, reported calling her a danger to every living child. Okay, and so her attorney, Clay Wadsworth, disputed whether the child was alive and asked if they had evidence to support this. Now, a full autopsy report for the child has not been released by state authorities as of this writing. So the defense attorney argued the events of August the 13th are something of a mystery, but that his client is a high school graduate who got good grades and doesn't have a record. She is still a child, says Wadsworth. Okay, now prosecutor said the defense was worried about the wrong child and chastised the gallery for supporting the defendant. So I agree with them. Pay attention. The prosecutor said that the defense is worried about the wrong child. Okay, they should be worried about the one she killed. Now, Houston County District Judge Benjamin Lewis held off on any major decisions, submitting the case to a grand jury and telling both sides that he would take bond agreements into consideration. Now, abortion has been banned in Alabama since the state passed the Human Life Protection Act in 2019. Okay, so that explains why she didn't get an abortion, perhaps, but she still could have gone to another state. But let me continue. That legislation only became criminally enforceable in 2022 after the conservative U.S. Supreme Court overturned the landmark Roe v. Wade decision in the landmark Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health Organization case. So what do you all think about this? Do you all think she should get the death penalty? Maybe not the death penalty because she's 18, but at the end of the day, she needs to pay for what she did. That's the bottom line. She needs to pay for what she did. I understand she's young, but people know right from wrong at the age of 18. I'm sorry. Okay, please sit down somewhere. All right. Dan says, Queen, some states make it difficult or impossible to travel state lines to get an abortion. Well, that's true too. At the end of the day, that's still no excuse. That's still no excuse, beloved, because like I said, she could have given that child to someone else. And here's the thing. If her parents were so concerned and they went to the hospital with her looking for the child, demanding answers, clearly they would have helped her to raise that child. But it sounds to me like she was being selfish. She said, I'm too young to raise a child. She should have thought about that before she laid down and did what she did. She said, I'm too young to raise a child, and kids are expensive. That's what she said. Honey, I can't make excuses. Okay, I'm not making excuses for these folks. Okay, please sit down somewhere. All right? Please sit down somewhere is what she can do. Okay, as far as I'm concerned. That's right. Jeff ATL said should have kept her legs closed. Absolutely. Because I got pregnant at 18 years old too. Okay. And I did what I had to do. I was already working because I've been working since I was 15. But nonetheless, I went and got my own apartment and all of that. And I raised my child as I should. So I'm not trying to hear the excuses. Okay. I'm not trying to hear the excuses. I was a good student. I still went to college and all of that. So please sit down somewhere is all I'm saying. Okay. Yusuf said rot in jail, but not death. Okay. I agree with that. D Love said, where's the daddy? I don't know, beloved. That's a good question. Mr. Hotel said, I'm not trying to hear it. So, okay. I'm just saying. So anyway, that crazy bitch Eric said, that's right, Queen. All right. Exactly. Yeah, I can't make excuses for you, honey, because I was a mother at 18 and I did what I had to do. Actually, I was a mother at 19, but I was pregnant at 18. But still, nonetheless, we all do what we have to do in this world. And killing the child is not ever the answer. And especially the way she did it. She put that baby in a trash compactor. Like, that's just absolutely gruesome. I'm sorry. I don't even want to think about that, please. Okay? I don't even want to think about it. But let me continue. Condolences to her family, because I'm sure they would have preferred raising that child and helping her. So listen to this. The Gambino crime family, okay? Some of them have been arrested. This is all nefarious. Everyone, please get those likes up. Please like and share. Thank you in advance. Hold on. I have the wrong darn article. Hold on. Is this it? Is this the one I'm looking for? Hold on. Let me see. Okay, here we go. Listen to this. Now, about 10 members of the Gambino crime family was arrested in Italy, in a Italy-US takedown, okay? And they're being charged in a Brooklyn federal court. So here's what they say. In a coordinated effort from both Italian and American authorities, 10 members of the infamous Gambino crime family were charged in a 16-count indictment in Brooklyn federal court on Wednesday. Now, the defendants are Joseph Lanny, also known as Joe Brooklyn. Let me just put him up here on the screen. I couldn't find pictures of all of these thugs, but that's one of them right there. So Joseph Lanny, known as Joe Brooklyn, and Mamino, those are his aliases, I guess, an alleged captain in the Gambino organized crime family. They have Diego Danny Tantillo, Angelo Gradiloni, also known as Fifi, and James Laforte, also is an alleged Gambino soldier. Okay, Vito Rappa, alleged U.S.-based Sicilian mafia member and Gambino associate. Francesco Vicari, also known as Uncle Ciccio, an alleged U.S.-based Sicilian mafia associate and Gambino associate. And Salvatore De Lorenzo. Then they have Robert Brooke, Kyle Johnson, also known as Twin. These sound like black people with this name. Okay, calling yourself Twin. I'm just saying. Kyle Johnson and Robert Brooke. These are no Italians. I'm just wondering. But let me continue. And Vincent Misquero, also known as Vitty Slick. I'm sure he thought he was. Now, they're all being charged with racketeering, conspiracy, extortion, witness retaliation, and union-related crimes. According to authorities, they were committed in an effort to dominate the demolition and carting industries in New York. The suspects are accused of violently threatening civilians, money laundering, and more. And additionally, as federal authorities were carrying out search warrants relating to the cases, several firearms were also discovered and seized. Now, in coordination with the U.S. investigation, Italian law enforcement arrested 6 of the suspects who are being charged with mafia association and other related offenses on Wednesday. One suspect in Italy still remains at large. They say, as alleged for years, the defendants committed violent extortions, assaults, arson, witness retaliation, and other crimes in an attempt to dominate the New York carting and demolition industries, according to the United States Attorney for the Eastern District of New York, Breon Peace, as he announced the charges on Wednesday, saying that today's arrests reflect the commitment of this office and our law enforcement partners, both here and abroad, to keep our communities safe from the complete dismantling of organized crime. Now, according to the government's court filings, the defendants are all members or associates of the Gambino crime family, famed for former members like John Gotti, Paul Castellano, and more. They all allegedly used violent extortion, fraud, theft, and embezzlement schemes in order to infiltrate the carting and demolition industry in New York in order to profit financially. The filings include alleged examples of the defendants, particularly Tantillo, Rappa, and Vicari, and Johnson, engaging in violent acts to terrorize their victims. One such example alleged that one victim, only known as John Doe, who owned a carting business in New York City, was subject to violent intimidation tactics as defendants attempted to extort money from him. Now, according to the filings, Tantillo, Rappa, and Vicari and Johnson threatened John Doe with a bat, set fire to the front entrance of his home, and violently assaulted one of his associates. Rappa was captured saying on judicially ordered wiretaps that Vicari had acted like the last of the samurai while describing how Vicari had directed John Doe's father-in-law to cut John Doe in half while apparently brandishing a knife. After John Doe ultimately made the $4,000 payment, Rappa allegedly sent Tantillo a picture of Vicari toasting with a bottle of champagne. Now, that's Tantillo right there. And let me show you. This is the picture of him. That's the picture right there. But let me show you the entire picture because that's him. This is the picture of him toasting with a bottle of champagne. This is all nefarious. Now, he was going to have somebody cut in half over $4,000. It's him right there. So anyway, Tantillo, Brooke, and Johnson also allegedly threatened the owners of a local demolition company as part of an extortion scheme. Now, at one point per court documents, Brooke assaulted one of the owners or the company owners in Manhattan, and Tantillo and Johnson coordinated a brutal attack on a dispatcher at the company. Additionally, Tantillo allegedly arranged for Graglione to receive a no-show job at a construction company and attempted to secure a similar job for Johnson, and so the men would receive paychecks and union benefits. Now, authorities say Tantillo also embezzled money from employee benefit plans by using non-union workers to perform work that was contracted for union workers, and then conspired with others named in the indictment to rig bids for lucrative contracts in the city. The feds are also pressing charges for racketeering for a series of crimes, including money laundering, retaliating against federal witnesses, and more. Through an extended effort by the United States Attorney of the Eastern District's Office, the FBI, the NYPD, and the U.S. Department of Labor, the defendants were arrested and are scheduled to be arraigned Wednesday afternoon. Now, they say these defendants learned the hard way that the FBI is united with our law enforcement locally and internationally in an effort to eradicate the insidious organized crime threat. This is what FBI Assistant Director in Charge Smith said, saying those arrested are alleged to have taken part in a racketeering conspiracy in an attempt to control the carting and demolition industries in the city. The FBI will continue to lead the fight against organized crime and ensure that individuals willing to cross the line face punishment in the criminal justice system. Now, the NYPD Commissioner, Edward A. Cabin, said that Wednesday's arrest in Italy and the arraignment in New York City served as warnings to others that could engage in organized crime in plain sight. Now, they say the New York Police Department and law enforcement partners exist to shatter that notion, okay? And we will continue to take down members of traditional organized crime wherever they may operate. In a letter to Judge Raymond E. Reyes, Peace asked that all of the defendants, except for De Lorenzo, be held in detention until their trial, citing flight risk and dangers to the community. Peace said that De Lorenzo should only be released on strict conditions and after posting substantial, heavily secured bonds. This is all so crazy. And so just pay attention, because organized crime is absolutely still here. It absolutely still exists. I know a lot of people thought that it ended after John Gotti and Sammy the Bull and all of them got caught, but no. They're still out here doing nefariousness. Pay attention. Now, in other news, this crazy woman who's a high school teacher, she is accused of beating a 2-year-old to death and lacerating the child's liver. Kiana Aisha Renee Davis being placed under arrest in this photo. Let me share my screen so you all can see it. This is all so nefarious. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Thank you in advance. Matter of fact, I think I have her picture already on here. Yeah, that's her right there. That's her. So here's what she did to this poor child. 32-year-old high school teacher in Georgia has been arrested for allegedly killing a 2-year-old child who was beaten to death. Now, this happened almost 3 years ago. Kiana Aisha Renee Davis was taken into custody last week and charged with 1 count of malice murder, 2 counts of felony murder, 1 count of first-degree cruelty to children, 1 count of aggravated assault, 1 count of second-degree murder, and 1 count of second-degree cruelty to children in 2020, in the 2020 death of young Carter Ambrose. Now, Davis was a teacher at Seckinger High School in Gwinnett County at the time of her November the 4th arrest. Though a substitute, she had been covering her classes for nearly 2 weeks. Now, Davis's co-defendant, Keon DeVoy Benton, faces the same litany of felony charges in the child's brutal death. The duo were indicted by a grand jury on October the 18th, though it remains unclear why Davis was not arrested until November. According to a copy of the criminal indictment filed in the Superior Court for Houston County, Georgia, and obtained by the media, prosecutors claim that Davis and Benton, between November the 15th and November the 17th of 2020, did unlawfully, with malice aforethought, cause the death of Carter by beating the said victim with an object, the exact nature of which is unknown. They allegedly beat Carter, causing him cruel physical pain while also lacerating this poor little boy's liver. Regardless of Davis and Benton's intentions, prosecutors say the second-degree murder charges stem from the defendants failing to seek immediate medical attention. Now, the aforementioned charges in connection with Carter's slaying were brought following a thorough investigation by the Warner Robins Police Department, the Houston County Sheriff's Office, and the Houston County District Attorney's Office as well. Now, the relationship between Davis, Benton, and the victim were not immediately clear, nor was it clear whether authorities had been able to locate and arrest Benton. Police, the Sheriff's Office, and the DA's office did not immediately respond to messages when they were asked to give clarification and more details about the case. Now, Seckinger High School principal Jimmy Fisher sent a letter home to students' parents regarding the situation. And the letter said, earlier today, we were alerted that one of our teachers was arrested over the weekend. In accordance with Gwinnett County Public School policies, the district's Human Resources Division has launched an investigation into the matter. Because this is an ongoing police matter and personnel matter, I cannot share any additional information. To be clear, the teacher in question has been away from our school for nearly 2 weeks and will not be permitted on campus while this situation remains unresolved. Fisher added that because the news about Davis's arrest had already spread among the student body, he wanted to reach parents first and assure them that the students were in good hands. Well, they don't know, according to the report, they don't really know how these people were related to this child, or if they were related to this child. So I'm just wondering, whose child was it? Was it theirs? Like, I just need more details. I just clearly need more details. But anyway, I'll be doing an update as soon as I find out more. And then there's a teacher by the name of Melissa Curtis who's accused of raping an 8th grader. Now, this woman did this back in 2015, I believe it was, when the young man, who's now an adult, was 14 years old. This is her picture. This is her picture right here. Melissa Marie Curtis. So police in Maryland are asking for any possible victims to come forward after a man accused his middle school teacher of sexually assaulting him multiple times in 2015. The alleged victim claims that Melissa Marie Curtis, age 31, engaged in sex acts with him when he was only a minor. He claims the abuse started when he's now 22, but he says it started when he was 14 and he was an 8th grade student at Montgomery Village Middle School in Montgomery County. Charging documents allege that the abuse lasted for several months, from January to May of 2015. Now, the man says that all the acts happened within Montgomery County, but in different locations, such as the school classroom, a movie theater, multiple homes, and even Curtis's car. He claims the two had sex more than 20 times. Curtis turned herself in on November the 7th after the Montgomery County Police Department Special Victims Investigations Division issued an arrest warrant. She's charged with sexual abuse of a minor, as well as multiple counts of 3rd and 4th degree sex offenses. Now, according to police, Curtis was a teacher in Montgomery County for approximately 2 years, working at Montgomery Village Middle School and Lakelands Park Middle School. Jesse Weber spoke with renowned journalist and founder of the True Blue streaming service, Chris Hansen, about the ongoing investigation. So they say, at least anecdotally to me, it seems like we're seeing more survivors, more victims coming forward. People are starting to feel more comfortable. This is what Chris Hansen said. You all remember him from To Catch a Predator. He says it also speaks to this notion about some people saying, oh, well, it's just a young adolescent boy's dream come true to have a liaison with an adult woman. But at that age, it causes a lot of damage. This is what Hansen says. And obviously, in this case, you had a boy who was 14 years old at the time, and who all these years later has come forward, because it would seem to me that he's suffering from what happened, that it impacted him in a negative way. And that's why it's a crime. If it was something that was harmless or purely just sexual in nature for him, he likely would have just let it pass. But he felt compelled to come forward and report the crime that happened, even though it's 8 or 9 years later. And this is significant because somebody in the position of trust, like a teacher, should not be able to get away with this. And it's not a harmless fantasy because it causes damages. Now, investigators believe that there could be other students who were victims of Curtis's as well. And they want anyone with information to call 240-773-5400. So here's the thing. Now, they have Me Too. They may need to make a He Too, because at the end of the day, there's a lot of these female teachers preying on these young boys. How many have I covered in the past 2 months? At least 3 or 4. Okay, please pay attention. These women are a hot mess. And if you notice, most of these women look alike. Most of these women look alike. Please pay attention. This is all egregious. Okay, so now let's talk about this story where this Dale Holloway he's trying to act like he's crazy. Let me put his picture up. He's now trying to pretend he's crazy, but they didn't fall for it. This is the church shooter, Dale Holloway, man who called dead stepfather to the stand, is found sane in retaliatory church shooting. So here's what they say. Dale Holloway shot both Bishop Stanley Choate, or I think that's how you say it, and a bride, Claire McMullen. So jurors on Thursday sided with prosecutors who said that Dale Holloway, age 41, was sane when he walked up to a wedding and shot the bride and the bishop. Now, the guest then stopped him because he likely would have shot more people. What he wanted to do is kill. That's what prosecutor John Harding III said in the New Hampshire courtroom on Thursday. That's why he had a gun, a loaded gun. Now, Holloway was convicted Tuesday of attempted murder for shooting Bishop Stanley Choate, though he was acquitted of trying to kill the bride, Claire McMullen, he was found guilty of other charges, including first-degree assault. The October 2019 shooting at New England Pentecostal Ministries in Pelham followed almost 2 weeks after Brandon Castiglione shot and killed Holloway's stepfather, Luis Garcia, age 60. In August, a judge sentenced Castiglione to 42 years to life in prison for second-degree murder. Now, Holloway, who represented himself, argued that he was insane during the church shooting. But even he highlighted bitter feelings over his stepfather's death. Loved ones were going to hold a celebration of Garcia's life later on that same day, when McMullen was going to marry Castiglione's father. They planned to stomp on his grave, he said, construing the bishop and the groom's actions. He claimed to hear voices and struggle with demons, including Satan. In trying to prove this, he played his rap music for the jurors. Maybe I did some things that I didn't want to do that I feel as if Satan made me do. These are his lyrics, apparently. This is what he said regarding one of the songs. His mother, Patricia Garcia, testified that he was a hard-headed, smart child who experienced violence in the neighborhood. Holloway even called Luis Garcia to the stand via a video he made of Garcia preaching, playing music set to Tupac Shakur. Tupac's music is on there as a collaboration with Minister Garcia, so that's double the depression that I was mourning for, he says. So he brought up a forensic psychologist who diagnosed him in a preliminary draft and not a full evaluation with PTSD and paranoid personality disorder. The expert, Eric Mart, addressed Holloway saying, "You have a problem with your thought processes when you're under stress." He and state expert Shannon Batter reportedly both said, however, that Holloway exaggerated his mental health symptoms, and they diagnosed him with antisocial personality disorder, narcissistic personality disorder, and other issues, but said his mental illness did not spark his actions. Yeah, I'm not going for that either. What do you all think? I'm not going for it. If he was mentally ill, I'm sorry. Make it all make sense. How do you have sense enough to represent yourself in court and to go and get experts to come forth? Please sit down somewhere. He's clearly nefarious. That's right. Twisted Logic said folks need to get a hold of their anger. That's right. You know, like the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan says, you have to rise above your emotions. You know, you have to control your emotions, not allow them to control you. Or you can end up dead or in prison for life. And a myriad of other things in between. But I'm saying those are the two worst case scenarios. Okay, Paris said that, well, him and Satan can go to jail and think about it. You know, that's what they're going to do, beloved. You got that right. And so anyway, let's talk about this man. This is a very sad story. Very, very sad story. Let me pull up my receipts. So this man killed his stepson, choked him out. I'm going to put his picture up here on the screen. And the mother seems like she's more concerned about her husband than her dead son. This is the young man who lost his life. Tristan. Now, his stepfather, let me put up his picture. That's his stepfather there. His name is George Christopher Floyd, like George Floyd, but his name is George Christopher Floyd. Now, this man choked Tristan to death. He was first choked unconscious, actually. He didn't die from the choking, but he was unconscious and he lost oxygen to his brain, okay? His brain was deprived of oxygen. So therefore, he suffered serious brain damage and was on life support. But now he's deceased because his mother donated his organs. Now, the reason some speculate that his mother donated his organs is so that his stepfather wouldn't go to prison for murdering him. So they wouldn't have enough evidence. So let's talk about exactly what happened. Let me put my glasses on. And so they say in the morning of October the 8th of 2023, 18-year-old Tristan Irvin was strangled by his stepfather, George C. Floyd. According to reports, Tristan's mother, identified as Rachel Floyd, woke up at around 4:30 and found her husband's arm wrapped around Tristan's neck for several minutes. George then instructed someone else who was also in the home at the time to sit on Tristan's back, even though George's arm was still wrapped around Tristan's neck while his face was on the floor. Now, once George finally released Tristan, Tristan was unresponsive. Several attempts were made to revive the teenager with water, ice, and CPR before calling 911. Police said Tristan was unresponsive for about 20 to 30 minutes before the call was made to 911. This is absolutely, let me tell you all something. This is why he had serious brain damage. Okay, if there's no oxygen going to your brain and you pass out, 3 or 4 minutes is absolutely bad. But 20 to 30 minutes, come on now. George C. Floyd has been arrested and charged with felony first degree assault and misdemeanor second degree assault. Sadly, Tristan passed away a few days later on October the 13th. Tristan is remembered by classmates and teammates as being a funny kid who never got into trouble. He was a talented musician and part of several ministries at his church. He had recently started attending Morgan State University after being awarded a full scholarship. Now, during his short tenure at Morgan, he majored in music theory and had recently been cast in their upcoming play, The Color Purple, where he was to play the role of Harpo. Tristan has blessed so many people during his short stay on earth and deserves justice. So we're asking for Anthony Tony B. Covington, state's attorney for Charles County, MD, to upgrade George C. Floyd's charges from assault in first degree to murder in the first degree. Tristan Irvin deserves justice. Sources tell us that George C. Floyd is not expressing any remorse for killing Tristan, none whatsoever. He has allegedly been searching for high-powered criminal attorneys to get charges dropped so that he can be released. That's all he's worried about, getting out of there. He's not worried about what he did to Tristan, and apparently neither is Tristan's mother, Rachel. So let's stand up for Tristan. His life was stolen from him far too soon. So here's what I know. Here are some more pictures of the devil who did this, as well as pictures of Tristan's mom. I'm going to share my screen so you all can see this. Likes up, everyone. Please don't forget to get those likes up. Thank you in advance, beloveds. Now, this is George C. Floyd right here. That's him again. And this is him and Tristan's mother. So here's the thing. Tristan's mother is more concerned with her lifestyle. You see, she's been afforded a pretty nice lifestyle because I believe they were living in North Carolina at first. And so they left there because George C. Floyd had abused her children. Apparently her children were taken from her and put into foster care. So then later they were able to get the children back. So they moved away. Now, they say allegedly, that George C. Floyd is very abusive. friends and people close to the family, like close sources, told another TikToker that I follow, who also reported on this. They basically told him that George C. Floyd would torture children when he was growing up. You know, when he was a teenager, he would torture other kids. And then even into adulthood, he still would do these things. Very violent, would usually be in domestic violent relationships with the women in his life. His first wife left him supposedly because of him being abusive. His girlfriend afterwards left him because of the same thing. But they say that Rachelle Floyd, his wife that he's currently with, Tristan's mother, well, she puts up with it. And in fact, when he choked her son until he was unconscious, unresponsive, do you know that when they took Tristan to the hospital, she didn't go to the hospital right away. She didn't get in the ambulance. She didn't follow behind the ambulance. No. What she did was she was more concerned about George. She was more concerned about her husband than her son that he just choked. So she went to the hospital, according to sources, 4 hours later. Showed up at the hospital 4 hours later. And so that's, you know, that's why some of us believe that the reason she was so quick to donate his organs is so there would be less information or evidence against her own husband. Isn't that something? Now, here's the thing. The husband, he apparently knows some attorneys, right? He knows a judge in Maryland where they're now currently living. And so he called this judge, according to sources, and asked the judge if she could basically, you know, get him a high-powered attorney or whatever. And the judge said she can't do that, you know, because that's a conflict of interest. What if the case comes before her in court? So basically, she said she couldn't do that. She could lose her job. But what she did do was she gave him a list of like two or three high-powered attorneys for criminal defense who might be able to help him. So this is all he's worried about, getting him a high-powered attorney, getting out of there, okay? This is it. Not any empathy, sympathy, or remorse for taking the life of his own stepson. Absolutely egregious. Absolutely egregious. RG Titan said she's covering up for him, so she's just as liable as he is. Yes, absolutely. And the sad thing is she has another son. I believe his name is Tremendous, but she has another son. And so now he's probably going to, you know, if this man gets out, which I hope he doesn't, but you never know. At the end of the day, the younger son or the other son, you know, basically could be in some trouble. And so, you know, I was going to play the TikTok video that someone did on it, but it has music in it. And so that's why I'm not playing it. It has music in it. And I don't know if that music is copyrighted or whatever, but I don't want to take any chances. However, I will be playing another video that has music, but I already checked with the person who did the music. So now, with that all being said, I'm going to share my screen so you all can see this. Now, I think I've talked to you all about this before, about patient dumping, how they just take people that are sick in the hospital and they just go and dump them somewhere if they don't have good insurance or don't have insurance or whatever, just drop them. You know, there were numerous of people dropped off on Skid Row. This is all so crazy, but they're still doing it. They're still doing these things. Please pay attention. I'm going to share my screen. Hold on. Okay, here we go.
Happens late at night, after 10 and before 4. It's called patient dumping.
This woman says it happened to her, dumped at a homeless shelter by a nursing home alone. And tonight, 2 investigator Dave Savini reports she's not the only one.
What is your medical condition?
I have multiple sclerosis.
It's hard for her to speak, but 57-year-old Celeste Emmerich has a story about her treatment she wants everyone to hear.
Had you ever heard of patient dumping before?
Never.
She says 2 men in a white van drove her here to the Pacific Garden Mission and dumped her right here at the mission's front gate. It was the middle of the night. She was in a wheelchair and she didn't have her medication.
The bottle they gave me was empty.
She says Kensington Place Nursing and Rehab did the dumping.
Were you scared?
Absolutely, I was very scared.
At Pacific Garden Mission, where Emmerich was taken, Pastor Philip Kwiatkowski says folks get dumped here daily from different nursing homes, medical centers, and psychiatric facilities.
They're just looking to dump the person to get rid of them.
Reasons vary. Could be financial or residents who complain a lot and other issues.
It's unconscionable and it's inhumane to see how people at times can be treated.
Glenn Reed is the security director at the shelter. What time frame of night do they usually bring them in at?
Anytime starting at 10 p.m. up until about 4 a.m. in the morning.
The two investigators found Illinois has led the nation in patient dumping. From 2011 to 2015, complaints have skyrocketed 153%. And nationwide, it's the #1 complaint reported to nursing home advocates, the Ombudsman.
She was treated like a piece of garbage with no value.
Linda Taylor manages Emmerich's personal physician's office. She and Dr. Michael Wasserman have been helping Emmerich, including getting her to a new nursing home.
She's a person who needs to have some sort of medical facility. She needs supervision.
The two investigators called and went to Kensington Place, but no one would talk.
So I'm just trying to get information about a patient.
They did, however, talk to the Illinois Department of Public Health. According to this report, the nursing home admitted taking her to the shelter, but claimed it was after 9 a.m., that she had medication and was walked inside to make sure she was safe. Emmerich disputes all that.
They left you on the street?
Right in front of the gate. Yeah. More nothing.
Now, you all know that's a darn shame. That woman has multiple sclerosis, dumped on the street like she was trash, and didn't even give her medication. This is absolutely egregious. But Biden, mind you, has billions to send over to Israel and Ukraine. Make that make sense. We have a homeless crisis here. We have people with no health care insurance getting dumped on the streets and all of that. I'm talking about, really, this is starting to look like a third world country as far as I'm concerned. This is absolutely egregious. Christine says, say it again, this is the worst country in the world. Nothing but a bunch of devils. Exactly. I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree. And the president is sitting here sending all this money to other countries. Like, it makes no sense. When you have how do you send billions of dollars to foreign lands when you have all of these people homeless? You have disabled veterans homeless on the street who fought for this country, gave their service, and they're just walked over. Nobody cares about their mental health issues. Some of them suffer from PTSD and other things. This is all crazy. But this is what they do in this country. Please pay attention. I hope Biden does not get back in office, okay? Him or Kabami. I can't stand either of them, okay? They're no better than Trump. I don't care what anyone says. They absolutely are not. All right, now let's look at this drug bust because the police got over 40 people in a huge drug bust. So let's get into it.
A total of 58 suspects are facing charges in what the FBI describes as a large-scale drug trafficking enterprise.
Never before have so many offenders been charged in a single indictment in Erie.
Investigators say 22 of the suspects are part of an Erie gang, known as 4 Nation.
This gang has plagued the east side of Erie for a decade by committing acts of violence and distributing fentanyl, cocaine, methamphetamine, and other illegal drugs. But no more.
According to the 30-count indictment, members of 4 Nation would obtain drugs from California, Arizona, and Mexico, and then redistribute them throughout the tri-state area. Investigators say the gang would guard their territory through shootings and assaults.
This gang has brought violence and despair to our neighborhoods. They peddle drugs and they use violence to control the streets with no regard for the innocent.
In making the arrests, federal agents say they were able to recover 150,000 fentanyl pills.
I'm glad they're off the street, okay? These people are nothing more than menaces to society. And you heard what they said, that they would protect their territory by shootings. And how many innocent people lost their lives in those shootings or got injured? I have questions, okay? These devils need to be exactly where they are, in jail, on their way to prison. Do not stop and go and do not collect $200. But while they're arresting those thugs and those gang members, please make sure you stop by the local universities and colleges and get the white ones who or a lot of times in fraternities and things like that, but they absolutely are dealing drugs on campus as well. Okay, so they need to get all of them, as far as I'm concerned. Lock them up too, because let's not act like Black people and Latinos are the only ones who are in gangs. There's Asian gangs and there's white people that have gangs as well. Okay, please pay attention. And like I said, there's a whole lot of drug dealing that goes on college campuses, and that's done by the people who don't look like us. And when they get caught, they usually get a slap on the wrist, if even that. Okay, and so. But anyway, so I have an update for you guys. If you remember the story about the Black woman found hanging in Orlando, I've given you one update before. Yolna Lubrin, also known as Yo-Yo, and I showed you all the people that were possibly involved in all of this, who knew something and all of that. So now, well, I'm pretty sure that Sierra Michelle Pender, who was her girlfriend, is the one who did it. I'm pretty sure she is. Okay, so let me put Yo-Yo's picture up here. That's her right there. If you remember, beautiful young lady found hanging from a tree, and the police quickly said that it was self-inflicted, which we know absolutely that is not true from all the evidence I've shown you. But so here is the update. Now, this is an audio recording, and I tried to enlarge this so you all could read the text messages and also see whose picture is on this phone, so you know that it's absolutely Sierra Michelle, also known as Cece, saying these things, wishing death on Yo-Yo.
Money. I really do hope you die. I'm talking about dead where it's no more you don't breathe no more. It's no more you. That's the type of dead I want for you. Put your ass in the casket. You're an actual junkie, bitch. My mama, you're a junkie, bitch. On everything I love, you're a junkie, bitch. I hope your ass die, bitch. I hope you step on a crack pipe and die, ho.
Stop. Hold on. This was all on
September 26th at 10:40 a.m.
Okay, so that was September the 26th. Yo-Yo was found deceased in October. At the beginning of October. Let me just double check real quick. Yeah, it was in October, because the news report came out October the 5th. Okay, so just days after Sierra Michelle made that recording, Yo-Yo was found hanging from that tree. And we all know now, because I showed you all the video with the guy telling all this, all the details and really dry snitching on himself and everybody else who was there. So I'm just wondering why the police haven't moved in to make an arrest. Oh, that's right, because they already lied and said it was self-inflicted. And now you may be wondering, why would the police say that in a case where it's clearly someone who's Black? Well, I can't know for certain, but in my opinion, I think that's just common protocol for them. I think that anytime a Black person's found hanging from a tree, always immediately across the board say that it's self-inflicted. That it's self-inflicted. Because see, if they say, oh, someone did this to her, and then they go and arrest Black folk, then next time something like that happens, and we know that some racist, wanton supremacists did it, well, that'll look suspicious. That's just what I believe. Now, I could be absolutely wrong, but that's my opinion. That's my opinion. Now, this next story is a man by the name of Muhammad. He was jealous, okay? He claims he's not a bad guy. Not a bad guy. This is what he says. Oh, I'm not a bad guy. But meanwhile, he just he just shot his wife 7 times in front of their children. While they were on their way to JCPenney to get family photos. Shot his wife 7 times in front of their own children. But he's not a bad guy. I'm going to have to beg to differ. That's him right there. A 45-year-old father in Indiana was arrested for allegedly killing his 40-year-old wife, shooting her 7 times in front of their 2 young children during an argument. Mohammed Mondale was taken into custody on Monday and charged with 1 count of murder and 2 counts of neglect of a dependent in the slaying of Stacey Mondale, according to court records. Now, Mondale was also charged with 1 count of using a firearm in the commission of an offense resulting in serious bodily injury or death. According to a probable cause affidavit obtained by the media, the fatal shooting took place in the couple's vehicle while their children, ages 2 months and 14 months, were in the back seat. The family was on their way to JCPenney for photos on Monday when the argument started, and a short while later, Mohammed Mondale called 911 to report that he'd shot his wife. Sergeant McAllister said that he answered the phone, and by the tone of Mondale's voice, he seemed to be panicked and upset. They say Mondale first stated that he had accidentally shot his wife. How do you accidentally shoot someone 7 times? Make that make sense. Said that he'd accidentally shot his wife. Then he stated that he had shot his wife and that he did it in self-defense. Now, the sergeant responded to Mohammed Mondale's statements by saying, "Are you serious?" and then asked where he was. Deputies responded to Mondale's call about the shooting, catching up with his vehicle near the border between Ohio and Indiana, and following it to St. Elizabeth's Hospital. When the family arrived at the hospital, deputies met them in the parking lot and saw his wife slumped to the left side towards the center console with blood covering her clothing. Now, you're going to shoot this woman 7 times, then you're going to call the police, report you did, and then you're going to take her to the hospital like you want to get her help. This is really ridiculous. She had little to no signs of life, according to the affidavit. There was a small black handgun on the passenger side floorboard near Stacey, near her feet. Now, outside of the hospital, Mohammed Mondale spoke to the detectives and inquired about the condition of his wife. Oh, he should have known it wasn't good after you shot her so many times. He said it was self-defense and that Stacey was going for his gun. She was pronounced dead at 12:11 p.m. that day. Mondale claimed that he and his wife had been having marital problems over the last few years. He stated that he believed she had an affair with a neighbor. After leaving to go to the photo appointment, he said that he and Stacey began arguing and she struck him with her cell phone. Mondale then stated that she dropped the cell phone and reached for the gun that was lying in the open center console. Mondale then stated that he reached for a gun on his person and shot Stacey. I don't believe that woman reached for any gun. I don't believe it. And even if she did, you had to shoot her 7 times. This is all crazy. Hold on. And so then goes on to say, there was a break in the interview, and when Mondale returned, the detectives informed him that his wife had died. He then stated for the first time that Stacey pointed the gun at him before he shot her. Now he's up in the ante. You see, now he's making her more culpable, lying, saying she pointed the gun at him. Now, in the course of the investigation, detectives learned that Mondale believed that at least 2 men in his neighborhood had previously had an affair with Stacey, and that at least one of them had been following him. Mondale also believed that his father-in-law was following him on the day of the shooting. See, this man is delusional, I'm pretty sure. I'm willing to bet that he's delusional or just someone who has low self-esteem and just is possessive and controlling. And these type of people, their minds just tell them foolish things. They allow their minds to play tricks on them. No one was probably following him. And what is the likelihood of his wife sleeping with 2 different men in the same neighborhood? Like, I don't really think that happened. I think it was all in his mind, and I think that he believed it, but I don't think it was even true. Investigators said they were unable to verify his claims of his wife's infidelity. There was also no evidence his wife fired a single shot during the argument. And in a final interview with detectives, Mondale again claimed his wife was reaching for the gun when he fired the 7 shots, saying that he needed to neutralize the threat. He said, "I'm not the bad guy." In a statement to WLWT, Stacey Mondale's family said that she was dedicated to her 5 children. On November the 6th, we tragically lost our beloved Stacey. Our focus now and moving forward is to love and support those children. We are being comforted by family, friends, and the outpouring of compassion by our community. Stacy's spirit will continue to live on. Now, Muhammad Mondale is being held at the Dearborn County Law Enforcement Center and made his initial court appearance on Thursday. Very sad condolences to the family and specifically to those poor children. 5 children left without a mother or a father, because he's going straight to prison. That's where he's headed. Very sad turn of events. Now, this last story is 2 parts. This story is very sad. It is very troublesome. This mother has come out and said that the father of her children, her daughter went to stay with him when she was 8 years old. She stayed with him for 3. She recently turned 12. I'm sorry, she stayed with him for 3 years when she was 8 years old. She recently turned 12. And this child came out and told her mother that she was being molested. Her own father was trafficking her. And this is also sad. And the little girl has an STD. She has been burned, beaten, hung out of a window, all sorts of things. At the age of 12, she went through all of this. Many of us couldn't imagine that as an adult, but much less a child. And I just want you to pay attention. Prophet P.I. did this video, and this is very, very sad.
Those that know me know how I am when it comes to our children. And those that really know me know my personal story of my daughter, who had went through some of the stuff that I'm getting ready to tell you. This right here is Deshawn Patrice. She's a mother, a writer, pastor. You know, she's very talented. She writes books, things like that. This is her daughter, Squeaky. Here recently, Squeaky opened up about what she was experiencing, what she went through, and all the trauma that she experienced while living with her father. And I'm upset about this because it breaks my heart. But I'm also joyous because there's light being shed on all of this. And it goes deep. The reason for this picture right here, how she's holding Squeaky, how she's holding her baby girl, is because the trauma that she has endured. And she's having nightmares. She's scared to go places. They're being threatened by the father and his friends. And it's getting ridiculous because they haven't been arrested yet. Even though there's proof, they haven't been arrested yet. Why? This is Squeaky's father, Myrondus Washington. He's down there in Georgia. He has a ministry. He's remarried. He had his daughter for 3 years. I want you to hear some of the story straight from Deshawn's mouth.
As a matter of fact, she started screaming and she was just like, I don't want my dad to go to jail. And I'm mortified by this point because I'm thinking to myself, like, what are you talking about? You know, you've been living there for 3.5, 4 years. I missed a lot. You know, I've not gone anywhere up until I moved to California last year. But, you know, I was seeing her often. It wasn't like I was an absentee mom or anything. I was still seeing her often. But anyway, she started screaming. And that was 22 days ago. And I have since found out that Squeaky has not only been molested, but she has been... I'm sorry. Her life has been traumatized, and she has experienced things that I have never heard of in my life. She has been forced into bestiality. She has been stabbed on multiple occasions. Her body is scarred. I was told, you know, over the course of these years, I would ask Squeaky, you know, why do you have all of these marks on your body? And, you know, she lied and said that she was self-harming. But come to find out, some of the men who she was forced to enter, some of them hurt her very bad. And I'm sorry, I'm trying to keep my composure, but, so initially, my mind could not comprehend what she was saying. I did not even want to believe her. To be very honest with you, I did not want to believe her. I just could not imagine that a judge thought that my daughter would be safer with her dad, who had already begun these things when she was the age of 8. She was the age of 8 years old when it started. Squeaky is now 12. So the bestiality, the sexual molestation, I think I've been trying to figure out what's worse, that or the fact that she's had a gun put to her head and the trigger was pulled 3 times. The fact that she's been choked, the fact that she has been hanging outside of a bedroom window, pleading for her life, the fact that she's had a lamp broken on her body, a liquor bottle broken over her head. I don't know what's worse at this point. For 22 days, Clarissa and I have literally been at the point of insanity. I've not been able to sleep. I can't eat. I honestly don't know what to say. Every day has been something different. Squeaky gets a little more brave every day. She tells a little more every day. And we've done the forensic interviews. We have done the medical exam. Unfortunately, she has an STD. Clarissa is reminding me of some of the details. Yes, the girls have been tied up. Squeaky has been burned by boiling water from one of the guys who she was left with to do sexual services for. She has been so many things, and I'm trying to be really careful because her triggers are unbelievable. We literally, I want to say, what day was it, Wednesday or Thursday, I thought I was going to have to admit her.
Now, I advocate for brothers. I advocate for men to get custody of your kids because there are a lot of women out here who don't take care of their kids and vice versa. There's men. You know what I'm saying? I'm an advocate for that. And plus, you know, like I said, if you know my story, you know I got my baby. You know what I'm saying? Because she's been through a lot of what this young lady's been through. I don't talk about it too much in too detail because it triggers her. But she's been through this stuff. My God. But look, it gets deeper than that because Deshaun showed her daughter 2 photos. She showed her 2 photos and asked, do you know either of these men? And she said, I don't know the white guy, but I know the black guy. That's my dad's friend. This is him. This is the dad's friend. And Deshaun asked her, she said, when did you last see him? And Squeaky said, a few months ago at Arby's. We ate there with him, but he was in regular clothes. And Deshaun asked her, how many times and where else have you seen him? And Squeaky told her, she said, he's been to my dad's house to visit. I saw him at the park in my subdivision, and he's also rode to Florida with us. And Deshaun asked, who was in the car? And she said, my dad, Miss Tama, which is her, the lady that's in the photo with the father. She said her cousin, and she said that guy right there, this guy right here, Stevenson Camille, and her. Like I said, it gets deep. And there was supposed to have been an arrest. So the question that we got to ask is the reason why there's had been no arrest and been delayed for 23 days because the ex-husband and his friend, the detective, is on the case? Is it possible that this trafficking ring includes law enforcement, judges, and those who ruled in Deshaun's custody case? These are questions. These are questions that need to be answered because trafficking of children is a multi-million-dollar industry. So why hasn't this man been locked up? Why hasn't he been arrested along with that detective? You got all the proof. But why have they not been arrested? Is it because it's being covered up by the same ones who were supposed to protect and serve? Because they're involved in it? They've done it, so they're trying to hush them all up? But look, I got more. I'm going to bring out some more videos. But along with all of this right here, Deshaun lives in California. And the ex-husband, he told her that he got friends and family in California, and he's made threats to her. He's made threats to keep her mouth shut, to back off of this case. But you know what? Deshaun, you have a village, and the village is here to stand with you. We got more that's coming out. I'm just giving you a snippet of everything.
That is also very sad. And I see a lot of you asking, is that the same little girl that she's talking about that's sitting right next to her? Yes. That's Squeaky. That's Squeaky right there. She's 12 years old now. And this has been going on since she was 8 years old. And some of you asked the question, was the mother visiting her daughter did she see her in the years that she lived with her father? Yes, she did. And she said in the video that she would ask her daughter, where are you getting all of these scars and bruises? And the little girl said that she was self-harming, said that she was doing this herself. Now, my thing is, if my child had come to me and said they were harming themselves, I would have, probably wanted to get them psychiatric help. Not probably would have wanted to get them some psychiatric help. And also, I wouldn't have wanted her to go back and stay with her father. I'd have had to take him back to court because I would have felt like, well, he must not be doing his job or not paying attention to her if she's doing this and he's not noticing these scars and bruises. But it turns out she wasn't doing this to herself. She was being trafficked by her own father. And I believe the father's wife knew about this. I think how could she be his wife and live in the home and not know these things were going on? I absolutely believe that she knew something about it. But here's another part of the story. And this too is sad. I mean, it gets worse. Please pay attention. And then, I don't think that she should have shown the daughter's face either, specifically because of some of the details. This is like re-traumatizing this child all over again, in my opinion, because when you talk about bestiality and things like that, and, she was saying that the child has an STD, that child's face should not be shown when you're saying those things. And I understand that she's trying to get justice and everything and wants to get the information out there, but I would not have shown my child's face under such circumstances. And so here's the second part.
I got more to add to the story of Deshaun Patrice and her daughter Squeaky. A whole lot more. And like I said, it gets deeper. If you don't remember, you can scroll down. I didn't tag it in this one right here, but here's a little snippet.
Squeaky has not only been molested, but she has been, her life has been traumatized, and she has experienced things that I have never heard of in my life. She has been forced into bestiality. She has been stabbed on multiple occasions.
If you want to listen to the rest of that, just scroll back down. You'll see it with their pictures on there. But that's just a snippet. But I told you in that first video that it gets deeper. And Squeaky has two other sisters, Mila and Marissa. And they have experienced some of the same stuff. And they're coming out and they're speaking. They're wanting to tell their story. This is Squeaky's mom, Deshaun, and this is Mila and Marissa's mom, Clarissa. And these are the two angels that are victims of Miranda's. Yes, my gosh. Look at those faces, the joy, and the innocence that's inside them. They have the same story and they want to tell their story. They want the word to get out there because not only has their father stolen their innocence, he's also stolen their life. And listen, now that they're coming out with their story, nobody should be trying to victimize them. Nobody should be trying to poke fun at them or anything, because this is some serious stuff. And it takes bravery, true bravery, to be able to come out and speak your story, speak your testimony. That's what Revelations 12:11 is all about. You are overcomers.
I don't know what happened. Hold on. Let me see if I can get it back up.
I got more to add to the story of Deshaun Patrice and her daughter Squeaky. A whole lot more. And like I said, it gets deeper. If you don't remember, you can scroll down. I didn't tag it in this one right here, but here's a little snippet.
Squeaky has not only been molested, but she has been, her life has been traumatized, and she has experienced things that I have never heard of in my life. She has been forced into bestiality. She has been stabbed on multiple occasions.
If you want to listen to the rest of that, just scroll back down. You'll see it with their pictures on there. But that's just a snippet. But I told you in that first video that it gets deeper. And Squeaky has two other sisters, Mila and Marissa. And they have experienced some of the same stuff. And they're coming out and they're speaking. They're wanting to tell their story. This is Squeaky's mom, Deshawn. And this is Mila and Marissa's mom, Clarissa. And these are the two angels that are victims of Miranda's. Yes. My gosh. Look at those faces. The joy, and the innocence that's inside them. They have the same story and they want to tell their story. They want the word to get out there because not only has their father stolen their innocence, he's also stolen their life. And listen, now that they're coming out with their story, nobody should be trying to victimize them. Nobody should be trying to poke fun at them or anything, because this is some serious stuff. And it takes bravery, true bravery, to be able to come out and speak your story, speak your testimony. That's what Revelations 12:11 is all about. You are overcomers by the blood of the Lamb and the words of your testimony. Your testimony helps other people overcome the barriers that they have in their life. These little queens, Mila, Marissa, and Squeaky, they all need us as a village. They don't need anybody throwing stones at them. They don't need anybody trying to downplay. And we doggone sure ain't gonna let nobody come at them and try to make them be quiet. This right here is trauma. That's trauma. Can you imagine being a child, let alone an adult, but being a child, and you are afraid of your own father because of the sick, demented stuff that they do? That is, Lord have mercy. Let me show you how vibrant they are.
Marissa, hey girlie.
We're calling on the authorities to make a swift arrest of Miranda's and everybody that's involved. Are you involved, Tama? Is it Tama, whatever? Are you involved? We already know this guy's involved because they pointed him out. You've been pointed out. We want to get justice for them. Justice, therapy, whatever it takes. Also, I do know that Clarissa has reached out to certain big name attorneys, and they've turned her down because they don't handle those type of cases. So I know we have attorneys that are watching us, because you guys have reached out before to help, and these two families need help. These innocent little girls need help. These angels need help. So if you can help, I ask you, I beg of you, reach out to us so we can put you in touch with them. All right? But justice for Mila, for Marissa, and Squeaky.
That is also very sad. So doing this to his own children is absolutely sick and appalling. And the fact that someone put a gun to that child's head and pulled the trigger 3 times. She is lucky to be alive. Absolutely deplorable. Prayers for those children. I hope they, get counseling for the trauma, because they are clearly traumatized. And you heard Deshawn, the mother of Squeaky, saying that she has triggers. I'm sure she does. And another thing too, that sort of thing happening to a child, that sort of trauma, that actually puts a negative energy on people. That can actually allow negative, malevolent entities to be attached to someone. Okay? So they definitely need therapy. They absolutely do. Malika said, no, she's blessed to be alive. Absolutely. Absolutely. So Reggie says, makes me think that the civility we all see is fake as hell. Vince I.M. said, facts, queen. Yeah, this is all very sad, that somebody would do that, but it is what it is. The mother, I just feel like, I'm not going to say she did anything wrong, but I just feel like when her daughter told her that she was doing self-harm, even though she was lying, but as a mother, when your child tells you that, something should click in your brain and say, wait a minute, she may go too far one day or hurt herself, to somewhere she can't come back from. And so I would have gotten the child counseling, and I wouldn't have wanted her to go back and stay with her father. I would have fought him in court, and I'd have been asking him questions. Where are these bruises coming from? You know what I'm saying? But the fact is, he was allowing people to do this to his daughter. This is all very sick. And he's supposed to be a pastor. I just want you all to pay attention. He's supposed to be a pastor, and this is what he's doing. And now threatening her, allegedly. She's saying that they're being threatened, that he's telling her to keep her mouth shut, stop trying to pursue this. And he's got friends in California and all kinds of things. And I'm sure he does have friends in California because he has a police officer friends, as we can see, who are engaging in the same type of behavior. And that's likely why he hasn't been arrested when they have all the evidence and proof. I mean, when a child comes out and makes those type of accusations, people get arrested quickly. Okay, so it's been over 20 days and he's not arrested, nor is anyone else. This is all very egregious. All very egregious. So now let's talk about KeKe Palmer. Let's talk about KeKe Palmer. KeKe Palmer has filed a restraining order on the father of her son, Darius. She filed a restraining order on him. Hold on, let me get my receipts up real quick. And she also has said that he was abusive, very abusive. And so this is all very shocking, I'm sure. And so here's what they say. Likes up, everyone. Please get the likes up. KeKe Palmer files for full custody of son after split from outfit shaming ex named Darius. This is what they say. Now, this is TMZ's report. They say to add another complicated layer to this custody filing, KeKe has also reportedly filed for a temporary restraining order against Darius. Okay, in the docs, KeKe alleges that there have been many instances of physical violence with Jackson, including one on November the 5th, according to KeKe. Okay, she said that he supposedly trespassed onto her property, went into her home without her consent or permission. Now, KeKe is gunning for full legal and physical custody of her 8-month-old son after another development and the apparent relationship breakdown with Darius Jackson. According to documents obtained by TMZ, the actress is asking a judge to give her full custody of her baby son, Leotis Andrelton Jackson. KeKe does not get into the specifics or details as to why she's decided to file. The petition states that KeKe is willing to pay the reasonable expenses of pregnancy and birth, but she's also asking the court to order Darius to assist with attorney fees and expert fees. Now, they say KeKe doubled down on her sexy wardrobe. Okay, I don't need to know about all that, TMZ. Sit down somewhere. But anyway, I'm going to show you all what was posted yesterday. And so anyway, here's what they say. Now, people reported this. They say that she claims that Darius Jackson, the father of her child, is abusive and has been physically abusive on multiple occasions. And on Thursday, the actress, age 30, filed a request for a domestic violence restraining order in Los Angeles. Now, in California Superior Court in the filing, Palmer alleges that on Sunday, Darius trespassed into my home without my knowledge or consent, threatened me, then physically attacked me, lunging for my neck, striking me, throwing me over the couch, and stealing my phone when I told him I was going to call the police. She also includes screenshots of what appears to be security footage of a man striking a woman over a sofa. Palmer alleges that Jackson, age 30, also abused her multiple times over a 2-year span. Poor KeKe. I hate that she had to endure this. This is all very sad. No woman deserves to be physically abused by a man. If you're so jealous, insecure, and possessive and controlling, you just need to leave. And when women see the red flags of these types of behavior, they need to leave before it gets too late. Because sometimes, like I told you before, it ends up fatal. Now, another incident was allegedly recorded on home security footage from February 13th of 2022 when Darius body slammed her onto the stairs by her neck. What? This is crazy. He body slammed KeKe on the stairs by her neck. He could have broken her neck or her back. This is absolutely crazy. This is absolutely crazy. Now, I didn't even see this article. I'm just now reading. This is my first time reading this article because I got several. Now, in the declaration, Palmer alleges there were many instances of physical violence, including striking and grabbing her around her neck. Descriptions of Darius destroying her personal property, including diaries and prescription eyeglasses, throwing her belongings into the street, throwing her car keys to prevent her from driving away, hitting her in front of their son, spewing profanities to her in front of their son, okay? Spewing profanities about her and her son. Now you know he's crazy. He's spewing profanities about her and her son. Now, threatening to kill himself with a gun if I left him, harassment and other physical and emotional abuse. This is all the telltale signs of a sociopathic narcissist, okay? Because what they do, when you don't give them what they want, you threaten to leave, you're fed up with their BS, now they start trying to be manipulative, talking about they'll kill themselves. Here's the thing. No, you're not. No, you're not. That's just an attention thing for them to say, so you'll feel sorry and come right back to them. If they were really going to do that to themselves, they just do it. People that usually do these things don't tell someone beforehand. When people tell someone they're going to do that, they just want attention 9 times out of 10. Some people may leave a note behind after they did it, explaining why. But at the end of the day, when people tell you in a heated argument or when you're threatening to leave a relationship that that's what they're going to do themselves, they're usually lying. Please pay attention. Okay? This is nothing but emotional abuse at its finest. Now, they say people was unable to reach the reps of Palmer or Jackson for comments. So Palmer went on to state that during the incident on Sunday, Jackson came to her home to take Leotis to a football game. But the 8-month-old was not home because he'd gone with Palmer's sister to visit some family. After a verbal disagreement, Jackson allegedly knocked me over backwards over the couch, stole my phone out of my hands, and then ran out of the house. He sounds like a madman. I'm sorry. He literally sounds crazy. So Palmer maintains that the entire incident was captured by her home security camera, which will be played by the court or for the court at the time of the hearing. She said that she followed him outside to retrieve her phone, and he nearly hit me with his car. Palmer's filing states that on or around April the 21st of 2022, the former couple went out to eat at a restaurant in Santa Barbara, where Jackson allegedly became upset after after accusing Palmer of flirting with a woman, causing the parents to head back to their hotel early. So he's jealous of men and women. Clearly insecure. Darius grabbed my prescription glasses away from me, threw them on the ground, and stomped on them. He then opened my bag, threw all of my belongings onto the pavement in the rain, and threw my car keys across the parking lot before he got into his own car and drove off. She alleges that he would also love bomb her. The abuse during our relationship was not just physical, but emotional and manipulative. The filing of the restraining order reads that Darius would love bomb me and make me feel like I was the most important woman in the world, only to get extremely distant and cold after a perceived insult to him. If we were at a party or an event and I spoke with one person too long or looked at someone a certain way, he would storm off in a rage, telling me that I was a slut and a whore, and accuse me of cheating on him and say that I didn't love him. Darius had a way of gaslighting me to make me feel like I was doing something wrong, even though I wasn't. Palmer and Jackson's issues briefly went public in July when Jackson called her out for wearing a fitted black bodysuit under a sheer dress to watch Usher perform at his Las Vegas residency. Saying that we live in a generation where a man of the family doesn't want the wife and mother to his kids to showcase booty cheeks to please others, and he gets told how much of a hater he is. This is my family and my representation. I have standards and morals to what I believe. I rest my case. Well, you don't rest your case, but the judge is going to rest it for you when you get to court, fool. The nerve of him. I mean, the absolute gall to sit up here and be trying to tell KeKe what to do after he's been so abusive and talking about he has morals and standards. Surely he doesn't. Okay, cursing out the mother of your child in front of the child, beating her in front of the child, and then cursing about both of them, saying profanities about both of them, even the 8-month-old son. Now make that make sense. After the viral social media rant, Palmer released a song with the OMG singer titled Boyfriend, saying, somebody said that your boyfriend's looking for me. Oh, that's cool. But anyway, they say if you're experiencing domestic violence, call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233. Or you can go to the hotline.org. All calls are toll free and they're open 24/7. This is absolutely egregious, honey. Poor KeKe going through all of this. And this just goes to show how sometimes you think people have the perfect life. You think people are living their best life and everything's just fine and dandy. But at the end of the day, you never know what's going on behind closed doors. Someone could be being abused verbally, mentally, physically, emotionally, and all of the same things that KeKe was going through. And then still have to come out in public and put on a brave face and not want to be embarrassed, by exposing all of these things. But I'm glad KeKe's telling this because this may help someone else who's going through something similar. If she was brave enough, maybe they'll be brave enough. She may have saved some young women's lives for all that we know. At the end of the day, he needs to be in jail. That's where he needs to be. He needs to be in jail, and I hope that's where he's sent. And I'm pretty sure KeKe's going to get full custody of their son. I hope she does because he's an idiot. Yes, it's toxic. Absolutely. A toxic relationship, Sunrise. Absolutely. Swift says you can't control nobody. Exactly. You absolutely cannot. A Timber Dance at Tina Turner went through the same thing. Yes, absolutely. Mr. Hotel said, Queen, the story was updated. Which story? The one about KeKe? Gail says anybody named Darius is questionable. Wowzer says, do not provoke your husband. Wowzers, I'm sorry. Are you a troll? Because you sound ridiculous. What are you talking about? Do not provoke him. What are you even talking about? Do not provoke him. I'm sorry. Make yourself make sense. Make yourself make sense. This is all crazy. Yeah, this update is the same thing. There's something that came out just an hour ago, but it's saying the same thing basically. It's pretty much saying the same thing, beloved. I don't see any new information. Let me just double check real quick. Yeah, there's the one that came out 40 minutes ago. These people are just late reporting. That's all. This is from NBC. I'm sorry. Yeah, NBC. Yeah, they're saying the same thing. These aren't updates. These are just people telling the same story. Oh, Mr. Hotel said restraining order was granted and she now has custody. Thank you, honey. I don't see this on here. Where are you finding all this out, Mr. Hotel? Not Mr. Hotel with the receipts. Mr. Hotel, get out of my chat dropping receipts. Hold on. Let me see. Okay, here it is. KeKe Palmer files for full custody as well as, hold on. No, this is the same thing. I don't see that, beloved. I don't see it. But thanks for letting us know. I don't see why I can't find it. Okay, here it is right here. I see it. Okay. The Shade Room. Now, this is a darn shame. You mean to tell me that the Shade Room reported this before NBC, CBS, or any of them? I find it all so interesting. Okay, it says KeKe Palmer granted custody of son and temporary restraining order against Darius Dalton. Darius Dalton Jackson, that's his name. Now, fans are in an uproar online after reports surfaced of legal actions that KeKe Palmer has taken against her son's father. The actress alleges that Darius Dalton Jackson has been abusive on several occasions throughout their relationship. So, according to U.S. Weekly, KeKe Palmer filed for sole legal custody of the 8-month-old, and she explained why. Said that she was concerned for Leo's safety with his father. I am very concerned for Leo's safety with Darius, given his violent, volatile, and jealous nature. Comments that he's made, which have accused me which have caused me grave concern, and the lack of restraint that Darius has already exhibited regarding his temper in front of our son. She's absolutely right. Now, they say in an update shared by today by Radar Reports, they say that a Los Angeles judge has granted KeKe Palmer's temporary restraining order against Darius Dalton Jackson. He must stay 100 yards away from Palmer and their infant son. Palmer also has sole custody of Leo until further notice. Now, Darius is not allowed visitation. There's reportedly a December 5th hearing in the books to determine the permanent status of these orders. Well, good for her. Now, Radar reports that the court gave Darius Dalton 24 hours after being served with these orders to turn in a handgun that he owns, because that's another thing. He has a gun, and KeKe has said that she was afraid because of that as well, I do believe. Now, he must give the weapon to local law enforcement, and you know when you commit domestic acts of domestic violence, you're not even supposed to have a gun. KeKe told the court that he had previously threatened to commit suicide or self-harm if she left him. Now, one abuse incident reportedly occurred on November the 5th, and this was captured on security footage. She said he trespassed on her property without her knowledge or consent. Well, we know that already. Okay. They also say that, as mentioned, Radar Online released screenshots of the security footage attached to Palmer's filing. They seem to show Darius seemingly gripping KeKe Palmer while she is partially removed from a blue couch. In another incident on February of 2022, he choked and slammed her onto the stairs in her home after becoming violently jealous and irrationally angry over a bikini picture. This is all crazy. The night before that incident, he allegedly slammed her onto the bedroom floor and slapped her head from side to side. This poor child has been going through. This is all so sad. My heart goes out to KeKe. This has to be a lot to deal with. This is all crazy. Hold on for just a second. I'm trying to see something real quick. Here's the still footage right here of the picture of him with his hands around her neck and choking her down onto a darn couch. This is making me real mad right now, for real. This is really getting on my last nerve. And Wowzer's in the comments talking about don't provoke your husbands. If Wowzer says anything else crazy, mods, y'all know what to do. Because I have a feeling that's a troll. Because I hope nobody can be that foolish on purpose. I don't know how good you all can see that. I can't really enhance it, but that's him right there. And he's got poor KeKe by the neck. Low down dirty dog. But anyway, let me continue. It's all crazy. All crazy. So anyway, she got the restraining order and she has sole custody, and that's good. I'm so proud of her and so glad for her, because some women never come forward. They just deal with it in silence, and sadly, they end up losing their lives. And I'm so glad that she came forward, okay, after dealing with this for 2 years. Vince said, why has he not been arrested? Well, that's a good question. Maybe she didn't press charges. She didn't press charges. That's why. She just went to a judge to get custody, and that's family court. That's not criminal court. So she didn't press any charges. That's why he hasn't been arrested. Now, as I think about it, Mr. Hotel said he needs to go to jail. He absolutely does. He absolutely does. Well, hopefully he'll abide by the restraining order if he knows what's good for him. Okay, so with that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. I want to thank you all for tuning in once again. Please like and share, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. All right, I'm sorry I don't have time for the Trivia Friday today, and I've been on here long enough, honey. This video is almost 2 hours long, okay? And so Miss Hotel said, thanks, Queen. You're welcome, beloved. Terry Hen said, thank you for all that you do. Thank you, beloved. Thank all of my loyal royals. Okay. Yeah. Cece said she didn't press charges. Nope, she didn't. So that all been said, everyone enjoy this beautiful day. Enjoy your strong end, not your weekend, leaving you in a weakened state. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Peace. Hit him with that flavor. Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got